Welcome. How are you? Tobin, back at a location that I shaved at on Memorial Day, so it's going to look vastly different than it did then. In that video, I did Dunshire and Aqua DG, a product from Sterling and Phoenix. Today, I'm using one of my favorite outdoor fragrances that I've had for about a year now, and that is Kananaskis from Sean at Macduffs. Absolutely fantastic. Welcome back to the banks of the Mackenzie. Today I've brought with me a soap that I bought about a year ago from the Shave Supply, and that's Macduffs Kananaskis Explorer. Yeah, Kananaskis Explorer. Kananaskis is a part of the Rockies. It's a provincial state park. It's like a state park up in Canada, and it's on my bucket list, and it's located in Alberta. I might talk about that a little bit more here in a second. I've already scooped into my bowl. I have used a pre-shave, Phoenix Ice. It's already kicking in. I've been wanting to do this ever since I bought it, but I've just been busy doing other ones. That's one of the reasons why I did my setup the way that I did in the den. I'll be whipping it up with my Phantom Aerolite 26mm synthetic knot. In my den, I have that door hanger soap rack, whatever you call it. And as someone mentioned a while back in a wee shave, a live shave, that it wasn't full, and it's not full on purpose, and that's because I've been using it as a way of reminding myself of soaps that I want to get around to reviewing or doing a video of. Like a lot of you, I have more soap than I know what to do with, and if I don't keep it in front of me the way my brain works, I'll just keep forgetting about it. And truth be told, this has been in there for a little while now, but I wanted to finally make time to do it. And I will be using the matching splash. Oh. I've said before, in my Black Rock, that's another fragrance from Macduffs, and that was a Shave Supply exclusive. I believe I picked that and this up at the same time from Gareth down there. When I was doing my Black Rock, I recall saying that this is one of the most natural, woodsy outdoor fragrances I've ever experienced. And I mean that. I can't even begin to recall whether it's a candle or, you know, something at Bath and Body Works or some place that, you know, I go with my wife and daughter, that I'll smell something that's supposed to be woodsy or piney, you name it, and it just comes across this synthetic, you know, fake, and not pleasant as a result. But Kananaskis, no. I wish I had an EDP of this, because I'd wear it every day. The wife and daughter love these fragrances too, and Kananaskis is one of them. In Kananaskis we have Balsam pine, Juniper, blue spruce, Rapira stainless, not the Swedish, fir needle, tree resin, and patchouli. And it smells so damn good. Truly. Today I'm shaving with a 1958 Gillette flare tip. That's the TV special. And I've also brought with me a 1956 Gillette flare tip, and the only difference is the handle, the knurling. I've been wanting to do some side-by-sides of the pink package there of Rapira and the Rapira Platinum Luxe. I've done the Platinum Luxe up against Fosshod Lattice and Fosshod Lattice in the Swedish steel, which is the white package with blue. So here's my 1958 flare tip. The only difference is the knurling. This has a straight knurling, this is more of a rectangle. The dimensions on the head are exactly the same, and the weight is the same. And I did measure these before I came out just to make sure that both were good and straight on the blade alignment and blade gap, and they were both still perfect. This, can't really see it in these photos, but this 1958 has original nickel plating, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, I dropped it a couple of times in the mud a minute ago, the dirt. It's been raining about a week now. Today's the first full dry day that we've had. On that first pass, both blades felt great. They felt the same. If you've never tried Macduffs, his newest base is the V4, the version 4. And it's freaking fantastic. I have Crow's Nest in the V3, and that's also what he sent me a solid clone of, and I absolutely love the fragrance of Crow's Nest. And while V3 was an amazing performer, it really was. I don't think I tried the first one. I had Strathcona in V2, but the V3 is great. Where I see the difference with the V3 is that there's more residual slickness, and it lathers more easily. That's where I notice the biggest differences. I felt like I was getting a great post-shave feel from the V3, but this is definitely tier 1 base, and it is a tallow base. So back to the flare tip with the Platinum Luxe. So as you can imagine from the scent profile, this is an extremely woody and outdoorsy fragrance. To me, it smells like heaven. I love dark fragrances and outdoor fragrances. One second. Still with me? So pine, right? Balsam pine is, think basically like a pine, but because the balsam, you get more of a balsamic intensity to it, almost sweet. Some could describe it as fruity. If you've ever had like a young conifer, like a young Douglas fir or some type of tree like that, like a pine tree, and if you've ever been like out planting them, that's exactly what the initial fragrance smells like to me. I've gone tree planting, some volunteer stuff. It was never a job, but I've done some tree planting, and while doing that, I of course handled a whole bunch of young Douglas firs, and that is exactly what this reminds me of right off the top. And I think a lot of it is coming from that balsam pine. Strong, intense, beautiful fragrance. That's followed up by the Juniper. And Juniper is piney, but it also carries a citrusy characteristic to it. Fresh and crisp is another way to describe Juniper over the other trees fragrances that we find in here. Next we have Blue Spruce. Not only is Blue Spruce an absolutely beautiful tree, but it is woodsy and resinous. It's more of a darker, deeper than Juniper. While Juniper is fresh and crisp, that blue spruce is carrying with it a darkness to it, if you will. And then he has on there listed as fir needles. Fir needles. I don't want to assume that you live anywhere where there's fir needles, so I'll try not to assume like I did in my life the other day. Sweet and rich. I was thinking about it. 2 words to pin down fir needle. Sweet, rich, slightly minty, sharp, and clean. I like that. What do you think? That's pretty good, right? Then we have tree resin. Tree resin is also known as pitch. Strong, coniferous. What I think it's doing here is up at the top we have the pine, juniper, blue spruce, and fir needle. And what I think, for me, the tree resin is doing, I've been wearing this a lot. I wear this, I love this fragrance. Probably going to empty the splash before I empty the soap because I do like wearing it around. But I believe that tree resin is a note that is acting as an intensifier. It's enriching the other fragrances that are already present in the scent profile. Fun fact, tree resin and sap are 2 different things. Tree resin and pitch are the same thing. The difference being sap is thick. No, sorry. Tree resin, pitch. We call it pitch here. If you run into it on a tree, we call it pitch. P-I-T-C-H. Pitch is tackier and darker than sap. It's thicker and stickier. Sap is more watery, like almost liquidy, and if you taste it, it's sweet, almost straight up sugary. Like think like a tree, earthy flavor that is super sweet. My understanding, and from what I've also heard, is that some people disagree with what tree resin pitch is actually doing. What I believe it is doing is it helps protect the tree from injuries, from insects, birds, whatever. The sap, the watery sugariness, going back to the TV special with the pink rapira, that sap is the nutrients. So the tree, if it's a tree that has leaves, and same with the pine needles, it's pulling nutrients up out of the earth and it stores it in the needles or leaves. So that's what sap is. And then resin pitch, from what I've seen, like I said, scientists, what do you call them, not arborists. From what I understand is they tend to disagree on the exact purposes of sap, but regardless, the son of a logger and a guy who loves the outdoors here in Oregon, I can tell you that sap, they're easy to confuse. They're similar, but they're not the same. Pitch acts as like a scab. It's very thick, it's very tacky. And whenever you see, not always, but a lot of times when you see a conifer injured, you will see pitch resin covering it like a scab. And how anyone could disagree with that, I don't know. There's arborists that make that claim, and then there's arborists that dispute that claim. Platinum Lux in my tea, and then my regular flare tip, 1958. After the tree resin, we have patchouli. Patchouli is earthy, spicy, and herbal. And I think one of the things that the patchouli is doing in this is making the fragrance last longer, and is really doing a great job of grounding, pun intended, grounding this fragrance that we've gone from the light, citrusy, piney notes that I just described down darker, the tree resin and the patchouli. This is an evergreen forest in a tub, in a bottle. I mean, Sean, that's the artisan, has done a fantastic job, in my opinion, of capturing the fragrance of a coniferous forest, of a evergreen forest. Now the patchouli, it doesn't bring a dirt smell. There's no dirt in the dry down. It just adds depth and character to it. Let me grab my towel. All right, got my towel and my splash. Sean is doing amazing things. He has a couple of new fragrances that are coming out. I'll put them right up here. I had tried Macduffs years ago. I've talked about this before. When I started my YouTube channel a year ago in February of 22, I decided then that I was going to try a few different companies and really, give them a shot. I won't go too much into it because I've talked about it before, but Macduffs was one of those. I now own 8 or 9 that I've picked up all of them this year. I got rid of the Strathcona that I had. That was a V2. That was a story that I talked about with BlackRock and the reasons why. It was a great fragrance. It just wasn't for me. It has to do with the anise. But what was I saying? Oh, so I think I own 8 or 9. 8 sounds right. The performance of the splash and the soap are both exactly what you expect from a tier 1 soap company in these early 2020s. Sean has really dialed in, honed his craft. Post-shave feel is moisturizing. Your skin feels healthy. Something that I was saying actually earlier today when I was writing a review on First Line's website. In a nutshell, what I'm looking for in a splash is something that will make my wife want to touch my face and continue to touch it. Something that will make my wife want to be close to my face. Now, yes, I want the health benefits for myself, but after 20 years, I'm still crazy about that woman. And a lot of this self-care, yeah, it's for me, but I'd be lying if I said that I didn't aim to make sure that I'm using stuff that I know she enjoys. And the fragrances that she doesn't enjoy, I sometimes wear them when I'm going to be around her, but most of the time I will wear them when I know I'm not going to see her for 10 or 12 hours. If you like outdoorsy fragrances, I cannot recommend Kananaskis enough. It is so good. You can actually see the bottom of the tub there. It's time to start working around. So damn good. Sean at Macduffs. You can get Macduffs just about anywhere and everywhere, from the Shave Supply to you name it, TRC. Everybody has it for the most part. I want to thank you for being here with me again on the banks of the McKenzie River. This was a damn fine shave. When it comes to those blades, in my opinion, I learned today what I already knew, and that's that they perform identical to each other. I'm going to put them head to head in some more razors this week. But I've been using both of them for a long time in different razors. I've just never done any head-to-heads, and that's one of the things that my schnerdiness likes to do, is what you just saw here with me using 2 identical razors with 2 separate blades. I'm crazy about this hobby, and I like comparing things. So yeah, Kananaskis is freaking amazing. It's on my bucket list to visit. It's just west of Calgary, so you can actually, my plan is to fly into Calgary, and then depending on where I want to go, it's only about an hour to an hour and a half, depending on, you know, where I want to go, because it's a large, the word Kananaskis kind of incorporates a larger area. But yeah, Kananaskis Provincial Park. So think like state park, but a province in Canada. Freaking banger fragrance. I want to thank you all for being with me. It's the little big things. It's stealing Doug's slogan again. It's only shaving. We're in this together. I don't care if you're a vendor, an artisan, a shaver, a content creator. We're all in this together, even if we're on opposite sides of the railroad tracks. In 2023, if you're hearing this, try to make an effort to look for things in common with people. When you notice that there's something different, just focus on what you have in common. So I'll get off my soapbox and wish you a great day. I love you. You know the rest, sugar. I'm sweet on you. I can't help it. You just float my boat like that. I love the shirt. Take care. Thanks for joining me. All right, welcome to the B-roll. If you saw my Memorial Day shave with Dunshire and Aqua DG, this is the place that had all that weird hanging grass stuff that looked right out of a serial killer, crazy like Deliverance. Have you ever seen Deliverance? Now I'm dating myself again. But we had some weird grass stuff hanging here and some weird grass stuff hanging over here. I'll include that clip right after this. This place is really overgrown. I assure you, there is a trail. But yeah, and so the one from Phoenix is more of an inspired by, and the one from Sterling, I want to show you the spot that I've decided to shave at today, just because I think it's cool. It's set back here in the trees. I kind of found some odd stuff. I've said in previous videos, you never know what you're going to find when you're out in the wilderness in Oregon. And you may have noticed something a little odd already. I didn't do these. This was like this when I came here. Attached to string. To me, this looks like everyday grass. No, not 420 grass. JB lawn grass. My setup, once again, I got my stool, I have my towel, a mirror hung here, mirror there, and then tripod there. Beautiful Mackenzie. Yeah, I love shaving out here.